Mike, today we're talking about co-created episode 43, Side by Side, Siblings, Disability, and Peer Support with Dr. Linda Nguyen and Samantha Bellefeuille. Now, what resonated for you in this episode? You had actually been at this conference, and we've had conversations about this, so I'm so excited to hear what stood out for you.
The kids' brain health. I've been involved in that stuff for years, and it's just cool to hear them talk about, how that, some of those stories and those conferences, and in particular, I think is the one you presented at, right?
Yeah.
Just made them realize, wait, we should be doing this. But that's not really what stood out to me. Actually, I thought there was a really interesting little side conversation almost about compensation for creating a digital story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, it's a topic we haven't talked about before, on in our chats like this. And I really love how that is becoming to more of a part of the conversation around digital storytelling, right? Because obviously there is personal benefit for making a digital story, right? And so people do get things from the experience. And at the same time, the organizations they create their stories for get a lot of benefit from these stories, right? And so, some organizations use it for fundraising. Some use it to really raise sort of their brand awareness and things like that, right? So in the past, historically, patient and family advisors have just been give us more, and we don't invest in them at all. And so I love that they started talking about the compensation part of, and what do you give someone and what is appropriate to give someone in the context of creating a digital story. So there's no easy answers to any of that stuff. But it's something that I think everyone should think about, right? If you're engaging a patient family advisor to tell important stories about the worst moments of their life, how do we appropriately value what you're doing? And in certain cases, compensation is part of that, right? And so it reminded me of the one I've done a lot with HIV Edmonton over the last few years. And just recently we ran a workshop and compensation was offered to these guys. It was all men living with HIV and sometimes in precarious housing situations and things like that. And yes, they got benefit from it, but you're asking them to spend an entire weekend to take transit, to not be out trying to get work and doing things like that, right? And also the mental energy. And it was just an appropriate context for them to offer compensation. And one of the coolest things that they're doing also is they're actually going to pay the storytellers each time they end up using their story in education session as well.
Oh, wow.
So they've got an entire budget. So it's almost like a royalty system.
Yeah.
The more they share their story, they will send money to these guys. And I would say that's probably on the farthest end of it, because I don't know many people who do that sort of royalty system. But when they told me that, I was like, wow, that's such an amazing commitment to the well-being and to the valuing of the lived experience of the community that you serve. And so I really would commend them for taking that additional step, of even going that far. So anyways, there's no one size fits all, but it's something that every facilitator, everyone that engages with volunteer patient and family advisors should be thinking about. And that's really the main thing that I took away from that conversation. There were other things too, but I wanted to talk about that one.
Well, and did you get to see Linda and Samantha at the Patient's Voice conference?
Yes. Yeah. I connected with them. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. You'd met Linda before at the Story Slam last year. Hopefully she's coming back
at the
again.
UFC. Yeah,
and she's at the UFC. We're going to hear more about your role coming up.
Yeah, in social work.
Yeah. So it's interesting how many times things cross over. And I mean, early in this conversation right now, you mentioned kids' brain health, and they've now also trained somebody within their organization to do digital storytelling. So that the movement that's happening in different cities coming back around is pretty incredible.
Yes. Yeah. It's slowly building momentum, especially in certain communities that have really seen the value of it. Right. So, yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, we were talking about episode 43, Side by Side, Siblings, Disability, and Peer Support. Have a listen. The link is in the show notes.